G'day, Stu. I don't know why I said it like that. G'day, Stu from UAVfutures here, and today what we're going to be looking at is this. This is the part 2 review with the Diatone Ultra. Diatone, I don't know, what am I doing? Anyway, what this is from Diatone. This is the part 2 of their ultralight. It's got 18-6 motors, pretty interesting, different stuff. You want to see the text and the specs, go check out this little card up there. Thank you very much, YouTube. But this is the good stuff. Let's take it out of the field, fly it around, see what Grumpy Trev thinks, find out how does it handle, and is it got some different issues than some of the other ones that we normally have, and then hand it over to Crash Test Cal as well, maybe hit it with a speed gun and just have a bit of fun. So let's do it, go have some fun with Diatone's new little ultralight in 3, 2, 1, boop! Rightio, out here in the field, let's rip it around. We've got Diatone's new super light, the 1806 motors. I'm pretty pumped, but today it's a little bit different because Trevor, you're going to get the first flight because I'm going to go flying with Cal tomorrow. You're going to be stuck at work. He's got the day off, but I sort of wanted to get both your impressions. So we're going to hand it over to you first. You might crash it, hopefully you don't, and then tomorrow it's going to be my turn. But let's get Trev's impressions, what he thinks of this ultralight, and then we'll cut to tomorrow's footage when I'm out flying with Cal. All right, let's do it. Jump to Trevor in 3, 2, 1, boop. Alrighty, Trevor, here it is. I've got a 1000 milliamp hour battery in there for a 5-inch. What's your first impressions of the GT m515?
Geez, a bit like a feather, isn't it? It's very light. Just look how compact that is.
Are you a fan of Diatone in the past?
Yeah. Look, they make some good stuff. They usually come up with something very innovative, and look how that's really well put together. Nice little run cam camera in the front.
How do you think it's going to go? Because it's got, for a 5-inch, we're actually jumping down to buy props on 1806 motors. How do you think that's going to affect its performance?
Oh, probably don't know about cornering, but it'll probably go like a cut cat. Nice little antenna there. I reckon they could probably do with some sort of TPU mount there or something to hold that still, because I reckon that'll get torn off pretty quick.
Yeah, I reckon if that slips back, it's going to get cut up by the props.
It's very light. Look.
Should we give it a little burn?
Yeah, we'll give it a bell, all right?
All right, well, I should say you should, because I'm not flying it till tomorrow. All right, let's do it.
All right.
Alrighty, Trevor. So I should also mention too, I only bought one set of props, so my mistake. And anyway, let's take it up. How's it look? What's it like?
Wow, really, bloody, the camera's brilliant. Jesus, so this camera, it's looking up at the clouds, but they're just crystal clear. All right, we'll take it up. Oh yes, I like it already. Well, it's responsive. Oh, geez, few oscillations there though.
Is there?
Yeah, and it didn't give it much. Yeah, they can't give it a lot of throttle. That's a lot of oscillations actually. It's okay until I give it a bit of a punch. No, look, I can't do much with this except just fly it round.
Is that because you're getting some high throttle oscillations?
Yeah, oh, not even. It's mid throttle. If I push it there, that's it. That's just very, very mid throttle. Very bad oscillations. And if I punch it, I just give it a little bit of a punch then, and it's nearly unflyable. It's moving around that much. The oscillations are terrible. Oh, it's virtually unflyable. Yeah, but
hang on, Calvin's just calling me. Calvin.
What's happening, bro?
I am flying with GT. What are you up to?
Not much, man. Just chilling. Just going to say you don't need to stress or hurry too much, because Adam's just running a little late. He'll probably be here at about 1:30.
Okay.
What you're trying to say, Cal, is you're still in bed, aren't you?
No, I actually got out of bed 10 minutes ago.
You still on for a big fly session tomorrow, Cal?
Absolutely.
Too easy. Anyway, I'm going to keep filming Trev, but I'll give you a buzz back in a minute, all right?
All right, no worries. See you guys.
Catch you, bye.
Okay, well, I'll tell you what, this thing, it looks good, but it flies like a piece of shit. It's, even mid-throttle, the oscillations are terrible. Look, I just did a little bit of a punch out. If I had to keep going, I would have lost it. So, even though you got one set of props, it ain't going to matter, because this is crap. Well, look, it responds really good. It's really good, except those oscillations. I can't get over that. That's just. You can see the props in the camera view, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't worry you. Well, it doesn't worry me. I quite like it actually. But the whole design of the quad, it looks really, really good. Maybe we've got a dud, I don't know, but maybe we can try some different props. But if it's something that's supposed to come out of the box, this thing should fly, and it should be ready to go. And
That's not the case?
For someone to get a hold of this and try and fly it, they'd be pretty pissed off, because it's, sorry to say, it looks really good, but it flies like a piece of crap.
No worries. All right. Thanks, Trev. I guess what's your Grumpy Trev rating out of 10 in its current configuration?
I'll give it a 5.
All right. And what about value for money?
Well, there's no value for money. I wouldn't buy one of these things.
All right. What about if I can get those oscillations out with some different props?
Yeah, they should come out, but we should be able to fly this thing out of the box, and that's what we really rate them on. So, look, I'd fly it with another set of props on it, give it a go, but my opinion of this is not very high at the moment.
All right. Nice. Thanks, Trev.
All right, so this is just this is some footage I wanted to show you. So this was the original stock things that came on here, the stock props, the stock tune. I took it for a flight and I thought, well, what's Trevor showing? What's Trevor seeing? Let's show the audience that. So I'm just going to let you watch that, and then you can sort of make your mind up. And would you like to fly a drone that was having this many oscillations, and how that would affect your sort of flying? You can see it's not even on full punch outs. It's yeah, I agree with Trevor. Those oscillations definitely in this form don't make it very easy at all.
Alrighty, so that was disappointing. After Trevor was talking about that, I did jump on the sticks. You would have just seen that DVR. It was shaking all over the place. So maybe it's a tune, maybe it's the props a little bit as well. What I am going to do, because these are pretty aggressive bi-blades, I'm going to throw on some sort of maybe some wind dancers or something a little bit more gentle rather than these 51, 52s, and we'll see if that changes it, because in its current state, I agree, there's no point to get one, it's unflyable. So I will see if we can change it, and then also, if we can do that, we'll see how it goes tomorrow with Cal. Rightio, out here in the field, we're about to do it take 2 with little Diatone's 1806 bad boy. Last time when Trevor and I flew it, we had oscillations galore. It was absolutely terrible, almost unflyable. So this time, I've changed out the props, and we're gonna put it through its paces, see if it's any different, show you some DVR, and then the good stuff. We've got to wait for Crash Test Cal to wake up, so we'll give it to him, put some grief down below for the sleepyhead, and then we'll also hit it with the speed gun and see how this little thing goes. All right, let's do it. Hopefully, these props make a difference.
Now, something that's important to note too, this is when the wind wasn't too crazy, because before midday, so I guess in the morning, the wind was wasn't the greatest, but it also wasn't terrible. But we actually had to stop flying. It got so bad in the end of the day. But this thing, you can see it is very, very zippy. And I'm going to sort of call these things like point and click flyers. When you put the sticks, you point it at something, it just instantly goes there. It's like a teleportation sort of thing. A very, very fast, very little zippy drone. But you'd think that would make it very easy for flying. And that's where I'm going to say, not really. I find the throttle management is more difficult. It's much harder to stay online all the time. So you can see with this flying, yes, it's fast, yes, it turns well, and yes, it's precise, but it is hard for my human brain anyway, and my type of flying, to try and lock that all in all the time, always be on the go to rip it around the track as fast as you can. So whenever I'm talking about, these lighter quads, I find can be a little bit more tricky to get around a course. That's what I mean. Yes, they're very zippy. Yes, they're very point and click, but every single little minute sort of stick movement you do on the sticks means that it is going to respond very, very accurately, and you've got to be on point 100% of the time, on your lines 100% to get the most out of this. It's definitely not as forgiving as some of the heavier quads out there, which almost give you like a little bit of a leeway or some error room and some stuff to work with, and that's what I find easy to fly around with anyway. Now look, we still do get some oscillations. It's definitely not perfect, and maybe the tune will be updated. Maybe they'll ship with different props, but in its first configuration, I really wasn't that much of a biggest fan. I've seen some other videos where, look, it seems to be okay, so maybe I did get a dud. But yeah, with these other props on here, it seems to be going a little bit better. And overall, I'm not going to recommend this one to first-time pilots, just for people who want something different, because it does fly completely different, unlike anything else that you sort of probably have in your stack of quads at home. But I'm going to say, just be prepared for that if you are going to pick one of these things up.
Rightio CTC, let's do it. Trev and I have flown it around. We've shown some DVR. We did test it out the other week, but it didn't work very well. We had to put out some different props. So now we've got some lighter tri-blades on there. What are your general thoughts of like these 5-inch 1806 sort of drones?
Look, I'm not the biggest fan, because they're fairly limited in their versatility, meaning you're restricted to a certain type of prop unless you're willing to think outside of the box. Now, I would get something like this, and I would actually probably try to put 4-inch props on it and see how it went, like that. They're 2500 kV motors, so spin 4-inch props pretty good. But that's what I'd try. I'd try some heavy 4-inch props on it to see what it did. But you know, in this configuration, they're nice, they're agile, they're light, they're fast, but you're very much limited to a light tri-prop.
All right, ready to do it?
Let's give it a go. This one probably could use a little bit of PID tuning straight off the back, getting a little bit of oscillation, but it's performing like many of the other egg-style aircraft that we've reviewed recently. So it's very fast, it's very agile, it does turn on a dime, and look, it's going to be a mean machine on a small track, I think.
Who would you recommend this one to? Beginners or racers, or who do you think this is
I
for?
think it's more for a racer, so someone who's got a little bit of experience racing and they just want something something a bit different in their quiver. So, you know, whether you would really use this as a serious race machine, yeah, it could be, but you'd have to do a little bit more work on it to really find that sweet spot with the props, you know, be it whether it be a heavy 4-inch prop or something else, but you're somewhat limited with the props you can use on it.
I'm joking, Cal.
6U. You're a sick man.
I'm trying to film Cal. And I'm joking. Is it easy to fly?
Yeah. It is. And it works well, and it's going to be light and relatively efficient. So I imagine you get fairly decent battery times, flight times from this, which is another good thing. So, you know, but it's a light aircraft, it goes quick. So when you do stack, you know, there's a chance you might experience pain in a collision. But fortunately, you don't have the weight of, you know, big 2206 motors or anything like that. So maybe that'll make it more survivable. But it is a fairly light setup. It's a fairly light frame. I'm not sure how it would hold up in a fast collision, but look, a little bit of PID tuning, and I think it's going to be a very locked-in, responsive, fun little machine to have.
If you had to go in a race tomorrow and you had to win, would this be a craft you'd pick?
Oh, I had to win? No, I wouldn't. I'm just too addicted to my XJBs for that. I reckon I could probably keep up to this with my XJB in a race.
Cal's famous 4 words.
Just like the others, because it is, you know, embodies all the positives of the others and all the problems of the others.
You're talking about the 18065 inches?
Yes, that's what I'm talking about, the 18065 inches. So it has all the same pros and cons as the others. Right. Meaning that you're going to have a hard time working out exactly what props you can use and what you can't use, and I've lost my train of thought. But.
Okay, no worries. Thanks, Cal.
Alrighty, so there it is. There's my review of the GT M515, whatever it is, link down below. Diatone's ultralight with 1806 motors, and in what I really thought was interesting, watching this back, watching Cal flight, myself flight, Trevor flight, when you put all those together, Cal kind of likes that point-and-click flying, and for me, I felt like it wasn't the most controllable thing. I definitely think when it comes out of the box with the tune it's on, you are going to have, I don't know if it was just my scenario that I had with the props they sent with it, but I didn't have a very good time straight out of the box, which is what's really important for bind flyers, because that's why people are getting them. They just want something that works, and for me, this didn't really seem to live up to it. We had to put our own props on there, muck around with it a little bit to get flying, but once it was doing that, I will say it was very nimble, it was very agile, and maybe that suits Cal's flying style, because he seemed to like how it felt in the air. But for me and my type of control when I'm flying, I found it very hard to stay online, and definitely this is going to go back to that argument, heavy versus light, all that sort of stuff for me, and I guess the flying and the way that I like to fly, I don't find it the easiest to get around with. It's the throttle management, it's not made for a beginner. The throttle management is all over the place. Yes, it's very, very responsive, very, very zippy, but you've got to be on point all the time. It's not as forgiving as some of the heavier options out there. So I would say I would recommend this one to people who already have some other ones. They want something out there that does fly a bit different. They want a bit of excitement, I guess, a different experience, something that is different from their other heavier racing drones, or other heavier drones, I should say, with bigger motors, because it does fly very different. But if it's your first time drone, that's what I'm going to say. It's definitely, I wouldn't recommend this one as a beginner whatsoever. Anyway, what do you guys think? Drop your comments down below. Sorry there was no speed run, but the wind is absolutely ridiculous. So it really wouldn't be fair. It would degrade the other results we get on the other speed runs because look, we like to keep them as fair as possible. And with the winds getting up like to crazy speeds, I think there were some gusts of 90 k's an hour. I don't know what that's probably like 60 miles an hour or something like that. That is just that's ridiculous. So there was no point doing the speed runs, even though Cal was ready. He'd woken up. But I will do another video soon when the wind dies down. I'll take it out, and because I've got a few of these coming up that you're going to see probably very soon on the channel, that the speed runs, we just can't do them because the wind has just been too insane. But on that, subscribe for my FPV related content, and as always, happy flying.
Alright, so I don't know if you guys can hear this or see this, but it is stupid windy right now. Normally we do speed runs, there's stuff blowing everywhere. But it's not fair to you guys, it's not fair to the drone. So I'm gonna try and do a speed gun run a little bit later, hopefully in the week or the next chance I can get out. We're gonna do a whole bunch of speed runs and I'll put them all into one video. So no speed runs in this one.